Good evening, welcome. This is What's Your Story? I am Catherine Mwangi here today with a part 2 conversation with a guest we had last week, the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. In case you didn't catch that story, there's a couple of recaps we want to play for you. The first one for me is that he started off selling knives. Here's how that went down.
So this job was actually a professional hooking job.
Professional hooking job.
Yes, in a tie.
Okay, what was
So
the back
first of all,
part?
you're psyched. I got trained for 3 days. So you join someone who is experienced. You walk around with him. You see or her. You see what they're selling, how they sell. And hi, Catherine. My name is Anthony. Today we are selling knives. Just have a look at them. Oh my God! I said, oh God. But because if I did not do that, the only thing I could do is to go back to Nakuru, the village. And I didn't want to do that.
What did that season of your life teach you that you've applied throughout your corporate career?
At that time, it looked, tumultuous. It looked quite tough.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine, I'm waking up in the morning, I have to be in Westlands in the morning and pick my load, right? Sometimes you're selling knives.
You keep going
This
back
time,
to knives.
this time is actually when, there was a lot of dumping of cheap stuff.
Okay.
So these guys devised a very clever way of using people to sell the merchandise. So we load, walk from Westlands, go selling on the road, go to Pangani, find myself in Isili, in people's houses. You go knocking doors, and you're psyched. You're told, winners are not quitters.
The knives must sell.
Are you a winner? and I could make 800 shillings a day.
Okay, not too bad.
But the problem is, you cannot eat that money.
Oh.
You are so tired.
If
You just go and take a shower and delay for about 2 minutes, you're off.
The last time we had this conversation, we didn't touch on his role at Bolt. So today, yes, we'll get into the manufacturing conversation, but I want us to just speak onto his experience at Bolt. Anthony Mwangi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Catherine.
So Bolt, tuliachia hapo last time.
Yes.
You got there after where? Where were you?
So I left, and I think I told you about oil and gas,
Yes.
tallow. So obviously because of COVID, we got laid off, retrenched. And I told you about how difficult it is to identify yourself if you're not working for a brand. So I started doing small things. I have a small family farm, out in Kajiado.
Right.
And I was looking at taking care of my animals, my livestock, and my, vegetables and onions and all that. And I did that for about 7 or so months.
Okay.
Then I joined Bolt. Bolt came calling.
Right.
Bolt were looking for somebody who can manage public policy space for East Africa.
Right.
So Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, wider East Africa, Ethiopia, DRC. And I joined, and I thought, when you see the cars rolling on the road, you don't know how serious that business is. And it's a very interesting space. And Bolt, as you see it here, it's actually a huge organization. Very young and very huge organization, owned by a 29-year-old.
Oh, it's originally from which country?
Estonia.
Oh.
So EU. It's from EU,
Okay.
Estonia. Many people say Nigeria, but it's Estonia.
So it's not Nigerian?
No, it's Estonia.
Wow, okay.
But the most interesting fact that it's owned by a 29-year-old young man.
Estonian. Okay. Yes. Wow, 29.
Brilliant.
Yeah?
Brilliant.
Okay.
So if you go to Estonia, you see everywhere Bolt. And people don't know about that country. But the former president actually came to Kenya, and Bolt being one of the biggest company from Estonia, had an opportunity of meeting the president and briefing the president about Kenya.
Okay.
And about what we do.
Yeah.
So a very interesting business and a very difficult business. So there's so many things that are said about ride hailing.
Yeah.
And it's not by fluke that there are about handful of global ride-hailing companies only surviving.
Yeah.
And it's a very difficult business. Because this business depends on the investor building the two sides of an ecosystem.
Which are?
You have to drive on board the drivers. At the same time, you have to grow the number of passengers. Most of the businesses you find you have the product. You as an investor, you drive the demand. But in this business, you drive the demand and supply.
Oh, wow.
So you're on both sides of the market. But how do you do that? Pushing discounts, just pushing money down the drain.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's why many companies don't make it. Because you think that you're just going to come and make noise about, and you do marketing and people join the platform.
Yeah.
This business is about what is called, what is the ETA? What is the expected time of arrival when you request a ride? If today you're standing somewhere outside a restaurant and you want to go to point B from point A, and you ask for a ride, request, and it tells you 29 minutes, would you wait for that?
No.
It tells you 18 minutes, would you wait for
No.
that? 12 minutes, would you wait for that?
No. I
So,
cancelled it.
but how do you drive that ETA, expected time of arrival, to 3 minutes and 5 minutes?
Wow. So there's a sense behind it.
You have to have invested massive on onboarding drivers, throwing money at them sometimes without doing anything, and also throwing money at passengers without just taking a ride and maybe it's a free. That's why those discounts happen, so that you drive the both ecosystems.
Wow. So you were there for how long?
So I was there for I joined October, I joined November 1st, 2020 until September 2022.
So like 2 years,
Yes.
more or less, yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. And for you, it was like a new path because you hadn't done that kind of work before, no?
So if you look at my path has been kind of linear in terms of the function,
Yes.
but non-linear in terms of the industries.
Right. Yeah. So the function, public policy.
Yeah, public policy.
Yes.
It's the same area, government,
Then
regulations,
okay.
public policy,
Yeah.
but different industries.
Different industries.
Yeah. So aviation, oil and gas, ICT, even this one is part of ICT stroke transportation.
Right. Yes.
So pretty much dealing with the same government guys.
Wow.
Then I moved,
Yeah.
I got this opportunity with KM, and I thought it was a very exciting opportunity.
How did that come about?
So once the former CEO decided to this time is up, so KM board contacted one of the recruiting company, and they went on searching, and I was one of the people who was contacted,
Okay.
in that process, and then we started a series of interviews.
Interviews.
Yeah.
How many interviews does a CEO sit for before they get that's it?
Formally,
Yeah.
maybe 6. Informally, maybe 3.
What?
So you can say a total of 10.
So
Tunnel
10.
vision. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So one after the other.
Right.
One after the other.
Wow.
Yeah.
Until finally now.
Until the final, now you start now meeting the actual recruiters.
Yes.
The people you're going to work with.
Yes.
Yeah, before you do that, you've done about 3.
Was it a hard
So it's-
decision?
I wouldn't say because I was, but I think recruiting is such a difficult thing.
Yeah.
I've recruited before.
Yeah.
To make sure, because it's also an expensive process. It's a huge risk.
Yeah.
Who is this person? Is this person who he says he is? We're putting a lot of responsibility on this person who will come, but do we know him? You see, those are difficult decisions. And in most cases, it's easy to get it wrong.
Yeah.
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 Most often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get it wrong,
Yeah.
and
it's a huge risk, because
It is.
for an organization, if you get it wrong,
yeah.
and then tomorrow again you're in the market, you're looking
Yeah.
for another person,
It looks
then
like
people think
Yeah,
something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
People. Yeah.
So when you finally got to know who the employer was that an exciting
No,
time
I knew
for you?
the employer was, but I had not met the directors.
Yes.
Yes.
The board,
Yeah,
yes.
so
Okay.
the board.
Yeah.
So I came to meet the board later.
So tell us about CAM then. 1959,
Yes.
given birth.
Yes.
And you take it up, that's 2022.
Yes.
So last year towards Q4, right? Just Q4?
Yeah, Q4, yes.
Q4 2022.
Yeah.
You take it up. So you're taking up 2022 minus 1959.
That's 60 years plus.
60 plus years.
Yes.
So an organization that has six
Yes.
decades in its
Yes.
belt.
Yes.
And knowing you, or at least, you know, what you said to us last week, you always have this thing of you get into this place and you want to put your own stamp, your way of doing things as well. But of course, you cannot ignore how things have been done before. There's successes, and there's also what you want to do for the
Yes.
organization. What was that for you?
At first, it was, I did know that it was that intense.
Ah.
You know, I thought, because I've been, you know, in other BMOs before, business membership organization before, so I thought, you know, this one is just, you know, like others. And I was shocked, you
By?
know, by the intensity,
Yeah?
the depth,
Uh-huh.
the breadth, and I'll just give you, you know, the numbers.
Yeah.
We have 1,300, you know, SICA, 1,300 active members across 14 sectors. Okay? So if you talk about food and beverage, that is a sector. You know how big that could be. If you talk about metal, that's a sector. Now, within those sectors, there are 53
Subsectors.
subsectors. And within the 53 subsectors, there are subsectors. And you can go down as far as, because when you go to minerals, for instance, we have the big, you know, people who do big, like, you know, mining. That's subsector. Then you have people who do, you know, salt. That's a subsector.
Wow. Okay.
You know, and it's a big deal. I mean, these are billions of investments. So 53 subsectors and hundreds of subsectors.
Wow.
All of them, in most cases, you find they have unique requirements. They are unique challenges. Yeah. You wake up in the morning and say, the government has banned importation of powder milk.
You wake up to that news.
Wake up to that.
And
members call you. And they say, the kind of powder milk that you use is not done here. We're in confectionery business. We're in biscuits. We don't do it here. So the government has banned.
And they want a solution from you.
Yes, you are the CEO. You are the CAM.
Yeah.
So that's what we're calling the breadth. In terms of the depth, is that all those products that are manufactured, all of them have a code. They're called HS codes. So when you're doing the budget proposals, we go through about 6,000 HS codes. Because all of them, you'll see there is a material, either the raw material for that product, or a certain intermediate raw material within the whole of that you're making that is imported, has a HS code. So it is huge.
So wait. I'm just imagining. So every day you wake up to something.
Oh my
There's
goodness,
some fire you need to put out.
Yes.
Because going by what you're saying now, and I read the paper every day, and I see things, I'm like, okay, so now it's starting to click. So if you read
wake up today's paper, is that doll has hit 145.
Yeah.
That is a big challenge for us.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine, January, Feb 2022, it was 110. Now, it is 145.
Yeah, less than a month.
And then, that doesn't mean other things have not shifted. So whatever you used to buy then, if you do in the scale of your buying materials of $2 million, $3 million,
so quantities are less.
It wipes out your
Even
margins.
Profits, yes.
Yeah. So
how big is your team?
So I have a team of upwards of 80 and above.
80.
You know. So that's the secretariat, and of course a very committed board.
Yeah.
And then we are organized in 7 chapters. So Nairobi being the head office. We have industrial area, which is special.
Yes.
We have central region, Ruiru, Thika, Muranga, Nyeri, Moyale, all the way to, you know, the border, Garissa.
So did you find yourself having to learn and study everything?
Yes.
How long did that, like, months?
I'm still learning.
Yeah?
I'm still learning, you know. Because you see, if you're going for a budget meeting, and yesterday we had a budget meeting, and you're going all those HS codes,
you
got to understand why the members are asking for a reduction of a certain import duty, or reduction of a certain excise duty, or reduction of a certain levy from some government agency. Like today, we wake up and say, KEBS is going to charge 0.2% or 400,000. That is over and above what was announced last week by KRA. We're going to increase the excise by this much. Is over and above what another one county says. Is over and above you're moving goods from Mombasa to Malaba, and you have to pay all the counties as you move. And you need to understand those charges.
Yeah.
And you also need to appreciate why those charges are there. I mean, because they're backed by law. But the fact, so the fact that they are backed by law, you know, is not that they are not wrong.
Yeah.
The law is there.
Yeah.
But
there's a but, yeah.
It's a serious problem.
And one man at the helm gets all these problems.
I wouldn't say one, because also the way we are organized, we work a lot with sectors. So we are these sectors, we have leadership in those sectors. So a lot of things are done within the sector. So ours is just to coordinate and make sure that things are moving.
You're being very modest because...
Yeah. we have a lot of committed members as well. Yeah. Most of the members, we call them at short notice. We spend, you know, inordinate amount of time going through the challenges and going through, especially the budget process, you know.
And when they come to you, they're looking for a solution, but at times you do not have that.
You don't have. But I'm used to that because, you know, when you're dealing with policy, even when I was working for KQ,
yeah,
I was called on a Sunday one time, and my in-laws were in the house, and I was called to say an aircraft has been impounded in Comoros or someplace. So give us a solution. I said, I don't even know where that, where that is. Why has it been impounded? We also don't know. So figure out.
Yeah, and you have to figure out.
Sometimes it's impounded because of some misunderstanding at the airport between, not even between the airline.
No.
It's between the, you know, sometimes you do a circuit, point A, Nairobi, point B, and one island. In those islands, I don't want to mention the name, and then another island. But this island here is owned by a different country, like French, and the other one is a colony of French, and the other one is, so you first go to the French, and then you go to, or you first go to the African country. But when it goes, because the territory of France, everybody has to disembark. But they are neighbors. Now, next time you go through the first one, they impound your aircraft. Why did you let our people disembark? But you know the problem. Actually, it's a rule.
Okay, let's take a short break as we hydrate. This is really intriguing for me. I hope it is for you as well. We are coming back just in a few minutes. Don't go too far. Welcome back. It's What's Your Story here on KTN Home, having a conversation with the CEO of Kenya Association of Manufacturers. I'm learning as you are. So far, I have established there's like 1,300 active members of CUM, and basically your phone doesn't stop ringing. So by the way, remember that time when the 7 months when you were discovering yourself, you know, that time between Talo and Bolt, and you went to take care of your plants and animals, and your phone had stopped ringing. I remember you said that last week. Your phone wasn't ringing. You know, you had such high-profile jobs, such intense roles across continents, and one thing happens in your life and nobody's calling. And now I can imagine you have to intentionally switch off your phone. Now, as we speak now, the calls are back.
Full swing.
Full swing. So, let me ask you first of all, tell me some of the things that, you know, Kenya is renowned for when it comes to manufacturing. Give me some especially at a global level.
At the global level, of course, you know, our tea, although, you know, it's semi-processed, we export, we have grade A tea. We need to do more in a value addition, but Kenya is known for that.
Sorry, can I just pause?
Yeah.
I read somewhere that the tea that we take here is not what is exported. They export like the best. Then here we are left with those lesser grades.
No, what you call the lesser grade here is actually maybe grade B, maybe globally, grade C globally. Because you see, Kenyan tea is unique. Kenyan tea has color and aroma. If you go to some places in these capitals, big capitals, and you're given a cup of tea and a tea bag, you have to keep on pounding to get some color.
It's flat.
You know?
Right.
And this is why Kenyan tea is the best in the world.
Okay.
And so it's known. Of course, we need to do perhaps more to process.
Yeah.
But there's a way the global, market operates. So you have a limit because there are a lot of companies, global companies that have been developed, have been created to blend grade A tea from Kenya and grade D from someplace.
I see.
Yeah?
I see.
So can you process and perhaps sell the whole tea, outside?
Okay.
Perhaps it would be more expensive
Okay.
because it's the highest grade. It's like gold, so you have to mix with something so that you have a few carats, step it down a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that's number one, and Kenya is known for that. Of course, coffee has been dwindling about. So, in terms of numbers, our exports mostly is horticulture.
Okay.
So flowers, veg, especially those two,
Okay.
big time,
Right.
which is about 165 billion, shillings,
Right.
thereabout. And the good thing is that we have very good air, air connection at JKIA.
Okay.
So the farmer in Kinangop who is doing broccoli or doing baby corn or whatever they're doing will get to the airport. The same will get processed, go to the airport. In the morning, it is in the supermarket in London. So
good.
vegetable is a big thing.
Yeah.
All the cargo flights, all the passenger flights belly, full of vegetables when they're going to Europe.
Wow.
You feel nice when you're seated in in the aircraft and you're going to London and we are carrying actually
food for you.
baby peas and you're carrying broccoli and all these things.
Yeah.
You land there and you eat it in the evening in the hotel. So that's big. Two, now tea is big, semi-processed. Now manufacturing now has come to be an interesting thing because now apparels and garments to the US has now become number 3, leading exports.
We export, eh?
We export a lot of global brands that you may not know.
Please tell me which ones. Or you can't.
I'm not authorized, but I'll say like Levi. Levi is done here. I'm not saying it's only done here exclusively, but it's done here.
No. What are you saying? Then we go to Dubai
But
and buy
usually,
them at...
yeah, but of course this is for export, purely for export,
Why
right?
can't they sell... Actually, Anthony,
being
the CEO of CAM, why can't those things be sold here?
So because, okay, so the investors who come, they got to invest in EPZ, right? So that's exclusive for export. There is a percentage that they are supposed to flow to the local market. But we are so used to Mutumba, so see, why are you complaining less?
No, we are not used to. What do you mean? No, but give Kenyans a choice. Let them decide.
There are also domestic apparels company that
Oh.
do equally a lot of good work. Yeah?
That's quite enlightening.
Big time. Yeah, I mean, you go to the of course, now there's influx of new clothes because they're done in China at scale.
Yeah.
But also our companies are doing that and exporting. But the same companies that are here, the same companies that do great work in outside because they are foreign investors. If we decided that we want to limit, we want to manufacture our own clothes.
Yeah.
In this country.
Yeah.
You just see the economy.
That do what?
Up.
Yeah.
Because everybody will be growing cotton, will have ginneries, will have spinners, even at the village level. Even using hands like what Indians do, handlooms,
Yeah.
We will have our own clothes, which is even cheaper than what we get from outside in bales.
And the reason we're not doing that is because?
Because we know we have international agreements that prohibit us from getting out of you cannot refuse not to take old. If we were to do that, you just need to go to Uhuru Market and when they are doing school uniforms and see the kind of industry that is there.
Yes.
Yeah, we should be doing that for our own clothes as well.
What does it take to be a member of CAN?
Just call us.
And they want to be a member.
But you gotta be adding value. You gotta be a manufacturer adding value. We only onboard people other than the 14th sector, which is a service sector,
Yes.
the banking, the insurance, the legal, the insurance,
Ah, those
another IT
manufacturers.
and all that. So you see, they provide services to our manufacturers, right? But if you're an importer of stuff, and we like importing stuff,
Yeah.
and then you sell,
You're not a
yeah,
manufacturer.
we have, it's not just about signing. It doesn't matter how much you want to pay, but we only onboard people who are adding value.
And what are the benefits to manufacturers in joining CAN?
One is that you learn,
Okay.
right? Now, where else would you know that your product has a code?
I've learned
How
here.
would you know when the policy is changing? So we track that for you. We bring you together with other members to learn. You join a network of 1,000, and if you can add value to them, then you have a platform where you can sell to them. And now we're creating a platform where MSMEs can do value chains or certain value for big companies.
Ah.
There are many people who are doing automotive parts for the big companies, right?
Right.
If you're given work to do, I don't think we do brakes, but if you're given work to do some piece of work, like motorcycle, mud flaps, for a big motorcycle assembly company, that's huge. So we bridge this so that then it's a marketplace, yeah. But you gotta be a member, yeah.
And to be a member is payment?
I mean, we are very flexible. We are very flexible. We
Oh.
onboard SMEs as low as, 20,000 per year, but you got to pay if there is for you to have commitment.
I see.
There are others like group of women say, okay, we're not going to charge you, especially MSMEs,
Yeah.
but we need to see you also
Yeah.
improving, because anything that's given free is worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't take
Yeah.
that seriously.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So so I see that, and I can almost see the system and how it works and how it's integrated. Do you ever meet physically? Like, do you ever put all of those people in a room? Maybe an annual something where they can ask questions, they can deliberate with the government.
So if you come to because we have a fully, building opposite Westgate, that's Cam House. One floor is boardrooms.
Okay.
And there are meetings there every day, from 7 to 9 in the evening.
Wow.
Different groups.
Yes.
Different. And because of the challenge of manufacturing, we operate in a very challenging environment. From power to policy to logistics so we have to have these conversations almost every day. Different sectors. Different sectors. And the good thing is that our members are extremely committed, many of them. You call them today, they'll be there 7 in the morning.
Nice.
Yes, because they know a change on policy that adds a 0.5 on, for example, excise, affects a manufacturer, some of them by billions. So if you're making $1 billion, and this 0.51 shilling, which many policymakers say, it's only 1 shilling. It also by $1 billion, you wipe out profitability completely. And there are those that comes every day. Any law that is passed in the parliament, they have a levy somewhere. And you keep on going to the same people who are paying taxes, the same people who are creating jobs, the same, And that's why we've remained where we are. So one of the things that we've done this year is that we've come up with 4 strategic pillars.
All right.
All right? To help organize our work and how we're going to deploy. Pillar number 1 is being globally competitive. That Kenya has to do what it takes to compete with everybody else, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Indians, the Americans, in the global marketplace.
Right.
When you take your parallels or your other products to the US or to EU, they don't care whether you come from Kenya.
No.
The customer doesn't care where the products come from.
No.
Price, quality.
Yeah.
So if that is a metric for that customer, in all over a global customer,
Yeah.
then we have to ensure that Kenya as a country has enabling environment for us to be able to be competitive. So how do you compete with people who are getting incentives? The Chinese companies are given incentives to export out because they know the value of exporting. Egyptians are given incentives that they know the value of importing, of exporting.
Yeah. So why don't we?
That's what I'm saying. We operate in a difficult environment.
Right.
Yes.
And one of your pillars is to change
Is
that.
now globally competitive.
Right.
How do we? So we've done that mapping. We've mapped out 78 issues that need to be addressed.
By
For-
who?
By government, by
I
policy.
see.
Yeah. Because we've done what we need to do. We have put the dollar on the ground. We know where the market is. We know where the competitor is. But the competitor is able to get that product easier and cheaper, you know, to that global customer. We are no longer operating in a silo.
No.
We are competing with Tanzania. Very competitive. Extremely competitive.
Yeah.
Now you can see, in terms of numbers, you see that Kenya attracts about $500 million of FDI, right? Now Tanzania has hit that almost $336 million within Jan and Feb. There is a massive FDI inflow to Tanzania. And you can see because of the leadership. During the former regime, if you compare now this and the period then, it was like a third, or maybe less than a third. You know, how do you deploy technology? How do you deploy for the fourth industrial revolution? How do you include robotics, you know, sensors into your production line? How do you upskill your people? So CAM Academy and what we call CAM Consulting does a lot of that. How do you make sure that your energy is efficient? We'll be having a major conference on energy. I've run it for 19 years, Energy Management Awards. So we host the Center of Excellence for Energy Efficiency and Green Growth. And now circular economy now you've added.
Yes.
Yes.
What do you want to see change?
So first, be globally competitive.
Yeah.
2, once you're globally competitive, then we adopt an export-led growth strategy.
Okay.
We need to export. I've just mentioned to you that the apparels that we export to the US, the market is $100 billion. We export 550 million. It's like a speck in the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
Market, we have duty-free access. We have quota-free access. Market is there. People to work are there.
Yeah.
We just need to organize ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm glad the government now has identified that as a value chain.
Okay.
But we need to move fast.
All right.
So Naivasha needs to be online fast. Dogokuru need to be online. So that's one. Now we can, and that employs about 52,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There is a potential to move that from 550 million to $2 billion. Now we've just done, that becomes number one export. And if you want to know that it's doable, and we have done numbers, what we call sector deep dives. All the sectors we've done a deep dive. We know where the market is. We know how much needs to be invested. We know that we have the numbers. And we present to His Excellency the President, and he said he's convinced. He didn't even read the speech. He said, I'm convinced, and we're going to work together.
Okay.
So, and from that, we appreciate, you know, that support.
Yeah.
So if you look at those apparels now, you move from 50,000 people to almost 300,000 people.
What's the third pillar? Jeez.
That pillar is what you're calling industrializing agriculture. So you've always looked at agriculture on this side, industry on this side, agro-industry. We're saying, can we be more deliberate? We do agriculture for industry, right? We are importing a lot of food, non-food agricultural products. The tomato sauce that I can see you don't eat, you know, Jack, but the tomato sauce that is very popular in the chips is very popular in this country.
Yes.
Tomato sauce is imported. And you
don't
hear
like
people saying, oh,
tomatoes.
tomatoes, naribikia kwa shamba, sijui nini. We are importing tomato sauce worth 2 billion shillings from Egypt. Egypt, it's a desert.
Okay.
Water comes from Nile.
Okay, what's the fourth pillar? We've run out of time.
Fourth pillar is
Yes.
SME development.
SME development,
Yes.
okay.
So integrating SME, and good to say that 52% of our members are actually SMEs. Yeah. So we're now coming with how do we organize SMEs to take advantage of export, again, these pillars, export. As an SME, if you're doing cosmetics, do you have enough skill to export to DRC, for instance? So how do we create an ecosystem for you and see how we can bring financing, logistics, warehousing, and knowledge about the duty and all that, so that you just, even if you have a 10 by 10, one pellet, you can export and start building your business from there. Yeah.
Anthony, wow, so your work is cut out for you. Really, it is. Do you feel overwhelmed at times?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you get that off? How do you
so one of the things that I try to do is to keep myself busy, to make sure that I'm jogging, at least jog run.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would like to do 4 times.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do 3, 2.
As we say
Sort of
goodbye, what have your biggest lessons be just across your career journey, just life, because you have had some really incredible lessons from selling knives to now overseeing the people who manufacture them, you know, and being able to give solutions, make things easier, increase capacity, make us globally competitive, and also local, you know, locally strong as well. What are those lessons for you?
I think for me is, first of all, being positive. You know, this glass is, maybe this half empty, this half full.
Got it.
You know, always looking at the brighter side of things.
Yeah.
Even when things are tough, you know that things change. And who said things are going to be easy? You know, that's one. And number 2, also, you know, being very hopeful. Things will be better. Tomorrow will be better than today. The other day will be better than tomorrow. You know, just and continue going. And also, of course, a faith that you know, we are made, you know, for greater stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at how your body works and how it's coordinated, you know, there's a bigger power out there, because we could not have made ourselves.
No.
Even with all this technology, nobody has created something as good as a human being, the way the system works.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
So you know there is a bigger, you know, and you say, if you kept me here, God, then I know can depend on you. Yeah? I don't need to worry too much about what's going to happen tomorrow. No. And being yourself. In corporate, you see there are a lot of things that happen within corporates, you know, corporate politics and all that. You know, you need, I've said I need to be aware, but look, again, I don't need to get involved because there is a lot of fresh air out there. If the politics throw you out, maybe better. Move on.
Well, Anthony, I am so grateful you came.
Thank you.
I am so enlightened right now. I'm like, wow, there's a lot for this nation. And I'm just praying for you and our current, you know, government administration that somehow it gels. Amen. So that for the sake of our people are elevated and we are starting, you know, we start to do amazing things.
And we can do them.
Yeah.
We have, every year we have 1 million people joining the job market. Every single year. You go back 10 years back, 10 million. The calls I get to attachment, but you can't employ everybody, you know?
Yeah.
And that happens to all the people in positions here.
Yeah. May you be the man to turn that around. And may you receive the grace and strength for it.
Amen.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this conversation with some of these conversations with Anthony are not ending as they're supposed to because there's way too much, but I hope you've gleaned a little bit. And of course, the lessons he said just now, just being positive and knowing that tomorrow will be better and the next day will be better than tomorrow. And of course, the faith, just keeping the faith, knowing you're not alone. If you're into manufacturing, you want to get into it, just go to the CAM website. They have a website. They're on all social media platforms. as Kenya Association of Manufacturers. I thank you for watching tonight. I gratefully made the time. Any questions you have, our socials are open. Do take care of yourselves, and God bless you.
Gem Suites Hotel and Luxury Service Departments currently boasts 2 properties within Kenya. Gem Suites State House Crescent, set in the exclusive State House neighborhood, comprises of 34 well-appointed apartments, and Gem Suites Riverside, set up in a secure, private and tranquil setting. In the upscale Riverside neighborhood with 98 luxuriously appointed full-service 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, superior hotel rooms and presidential penthouses.